What's up guys, Houndish here, and today we got a big old update for Destiny 2. So plenty of stuff to talk about in this video. Some of it comes in the form of this week at Bungie, but they talk about weekly reset changes, loot and RNG changes, the April update, increased drop rates, and we're going to get some info on Arc Week shortly. There are some of the matchmaking changes, security updates to the game, and a bunch of feedback points which Bungie have responded to recently, and definitely a few positive changes that they talk about in this update, guys. So we're going to jump right into it. If you enjoyed this video, a rating below really helps me out. But now let's break down the news. So we get this week at Bungie a little bit early today. Of course, this week sees another community summit, where a bunch of folks have headed over to Bungie to sample some of the content that we'll see next season in the Season of Opulence. I did make a video about this the other day. We spoke about Leviathan, Callus, some pretty cool lore, as well as some stuff that may be worth knowing if you're interested in the content that we're going to get next season. So I'll link that one down below if you want to check it out. But in the Bungie update, they talk, of course, about the Iron Banner. We've got a few things to mention just later in the video, but of course, Iron Banner will be active until next week's reset on April the 2nd. The week after that, though, we will get another update, Destiny Update 2.2.1. This is going to bring a bunch of positive changes to the game. We should also mention that this update on April 9th will kick off Arc Week, so this is an upcoming event for Destiny 2. We know very little about it, but Bungie say be sure to check back next week for information on how we'll be celebrating Arc Energy in Season of the Drifter. So curious stuff, we'll have to wait and see what that's all about, but there are going to be some adjustments to the game which are pretty good. Bungie say, for some time now, we've been encountering issues where some of our resets would catch bad streaks, preventing players from completing various triumphs or earning their desired titles. And of course, because we do the reset video here, it's something that we have a lot of conversation about. So firstly, they say, this week, the Corrupted Nightfall is available for Forsaken owners to complete, and if this is the last checkmark you need for the Dreaming City seal, make sure you head to the Dreaming City before the weekly reset. Moving forward, Bungie say that they'll be putting more effort into preventing streaks where specific nightfalls appear multiple weeks in a row or don't appear at all for months. They'll also be making sure that the experience tackling strikes associated with seals isn't feast or famine. So definitely positive, they're going to look to update or avoid streaks of recurring nightfalls. But there's another equally exciting change right here. Bungie talk about bad streaks with Black Armory weapon frames, and in Update 2.2.1, Ada will begin offering all weapon frames every week. Players are still going to be limited on how many different frames they can actually pick up, so presumably that will still be 2 frames per week, but Bungie are removing the weekly rotation, so every single week, the option will be completely ours. So that's definitely positive, no more waiting for specific weapons to roll around. But of course, we heard that we'd be seeing some RNG changes, and specifically some stuff that affects a bunch of seals in the game. And yes, I mean title seals, not actual seals. But they give us further details about Dreaming City cosmetics, and a bunch of different drops actually throughout the game. So firstly, drop rates for the Ghost, Ship, and Sparrow have been doubled, tripled, or more for their respective activities. And these are the Dreaming City cosmetic items. So these are the 3 associated with Cursebreaker. So I believe the Ghost comes from the Ascendant Challenge, the Ship will come from the Shattered Throne, and the Sparrow from the weekly mission. Also, for Last Wish cosmetics, so Ghost, Ship, and Sparrow, they've been doubled, tripled, or more for their respective checkpoints once again. So the drop chances for these are going to be, fairly significantly improved. And on the subject of 1000 voices, Bungie say, this exotic will continue to be rare among players, but we've tuned the drop weights to give slightly better chances than what are currently available. So if you've been particularly unlucky when it comes to 1000 voices, and hopefully that's going to be a positive, but they are increasing drop rates for various lore books as well, so Kate's Stash, the Dreaming City lore books, and the Tangled Shore. So that's really positive if you're going for things like Chronicler, or you simply enjoy collecting that lore. And on the subject of Dreaming City, I believe that will be the random lore drops, as opposed to the stuff which comes from the Queen's Court. So all of those are going to be really positive changes. Let us know your thoughts about it down below. But on the subject of Invitations of the 9, Bungie say, currently players must complete an Invitation of the 9 by Tuesday's reset in order to have a new invitation appear on Friday. However, after Update 2.2.1, players will have through Thursday's reset at 10 AM to complete the invitation. And to clarify, Bungie say, players who accept invitations right now should be aware that they must complete them by the following weekly reset in order for Xur to offer a new invitation in his next visit. So basically, you need to think of that invitation like any other weekly reset piece of content. Otherwise, you will end up having to skip a week, or when Xur arrives on Friday, he's not going to have anything for you because the game thinks you've already done that week's invitation, right? Regardless of that, after the update on April 9th, we'll have until Thursday to get those done, so nearly an entire week. On top of this, in Season of the Drifter, the 5 of Swords card was updated to apply score multipliers only after setting a power handicap of 100+, and in the update in April, they'll be adding +25 and max handicap buttons to help players set their handicaps more efficiently. So those are the changes they break down right there, once again coming on April the 9th, and they do say that during development, if there are any major issues, then some of these changes could be delayed, so do bear that in mind, but we are expecting this stuff to arrive on April 9th, once again, alongside Arc Week, and the week after that is when we'll get the Revelry event, so gonna be pretty interesting stuff. Now, Bungie talk about Gambit Prime, and specifically on the subject of matchmaking. They refer to the changes that they made to normal Gambit matchmaking a few weeks ago, and basically those changes are now being applied to Gambit Prime as well. So if you're queuing up for Gambit Prime, Bungie say players who are in a pre-made fire team have a communication advantage, and to offset that advantage, they've raised the internal skill rating of pre-made fire teams to pull in higher skill enemies to fight against. With this change, even as a solo player, you'll still have a chance. Plus, your other matched fire team mates should be of high skill, so you'll have to let us know how that goes, guys. Hopefully that's going to be a really positive change. Whether you're in a team or playing solo, you should get fairer games in general, or games that are more suited to the fire team that you're currently in, right? So hopefully that works out well. Let us know your thoughts on it below. Also on the subject of Gambit Prime, Bungie have said that Gambit Prime features its final map before all maps enter the Gambit Prime playlist rotation. Players who want to get their uninterrupted fill of Emerald Coast have the rest of the week to do so until the weekly reset next Tuesday. So next week, no longer will we be playing on kind of a featured weekly map, but all the maps will be available, and on top of this, Gambit Prime will unlock in private matches next Tuesday as well. Bear in mind that is separate to the April update stuff that we'll see the following week. There are some additional bits of information and tracked known issues when it comes to things like Iron Banner, so you can check that out in Bungie's update, which I'll link down below. And on top of this, next week there will be a Bungie bounty on PC, so if you want a chance to play against the developers, score a pretty cool emblem, you can also check that out in Bungie's article. Bungie also outlined some security response stuff on the subject of aimbots and macros, restrictions to players with extremely poor networking, and a couple of other important notes, so once again, if that applies to you, you can check that out. Up next though, I wanted to move on and talk about some pretty important bits of feedback that have been recognised by Bungie, and we've got a few different things here. So first up, regarding the recent conversation about enhancement cores, of course, Bungie gave us some information last week about how they plan to update enhancement cores and give new sources for them to drop in the game. And of course, we're going to be getting gunsmith bounties, and these should be a bit more reliable when it comes to acquiring enhancement cores, but Bungie did confirm that they won't be removing them from Infusion. And there was a lot of feedback about this, and on that subject, Cosmos said, "We've seen the feedback that this change is not what a large part of the community wants, and that most of you want enhancement cores removed from the cost of Infusion. We sent a summary of the response to the dev team this morning, so it's definitely good that at the very least Bungie know, just like Cosmo said, a large part of the community wants them to be removed from Infusion." So hopefully we'll see some positive updates from that. Of course, it may be beyond Season 7, but there was some feedback about armor visuals inside of Destiny 2, and of course it's another conversation that we have a lot in the community, and someone brought up the Age of Triumph style raid ornaments that we used to have, as well as the original Trials gear, and Cosmo did ask for feedback on what players like and dislike when it comes to armor, but also said that they've been giving feedback that a lot of players preferred the wolf or knight aesthetic for Iron Banner sets, as well as how much everybody loved the glowing raid ornaments. So once again, some recognition right there from Bungie on that subject. And I think a lot of the community kind of unanimously agree. Age of Triumph raid ornaments, man. Year 3 trial stuff was absolutely fantastic, and visually in the game right now, a lot of gear doesn't come anywhere near to that. So I'd love to hear your thoughts about it down below, but once again, some kind of candid recognition of that feedback from Bungie. On top of this, they are also pushing feedback that players would like to see more dungeons, and there was a conversation on the forums about how dungeons actually offer some really good endgame content for solo players. As Cosmo said, difficult endgame content that, while still being accessible to a fire team, was possible to be soloed by skilled players. We're glad the community really enjoyed this content, and the team is aware that there is a desire for more of it. So hopefully down the road, we will see more kind of dungeon style content. And I totally agree that it's actually pretty good for solo players who want to have some skill expression, you know? Working towards solo in the Shattered Throne or something obviously is a really cool feat in the game. And yes, 100%, I would love to see more of that stuff as well. So let me know your thoughts about it down below. Somebody did point out over on Reddit though, on the subject of some content this week, be sure not to shard the Wizened Rebuke if you actually want to keep it. Of course, we've got an updated version of this weapon available in Iron Banner, and if you delete the weapon right now, you can't pull it from collections or farm another one. DMG said this will be fixed in update 2.2.1 that's coming in early April, and just like things like Luna's Howl, it will be available in collections for repurchase. On top of this, they also plan to add the Wizened Rebuke to the general loot table for Iron Banner, but able to drop random rolls as long as you acquire the curated drop first. so that could be a positive. They're also working on the Season 6 shader and the ship as well, which there are some known bugs associated with. But guys, for now, that is going to summarize the video. So let me know your thoughts about any of the stuff we covered in the Bungie update this week. If you've enjoyed this video, a rating below super helps me out. And if you're new to the channel, be sure to hit subscribe to see a lot more Destiny 2 content. Also, check out my partners over at Into the AM who have some really cool clothing in their store. Some unique graphic shirts, prints, hoodies, bandanas, and a bunch of other accessories that you can pick up over there. You can save 10% in the store using code Houndish. The details for that will be linked below. But for now, guys, thanks a bunch for tuning in. Whatever you get up to, I hope you have an awesome day.